Hello everybody, John here, and today onto the garage we got some more satisfying progress on Olive the T2 camper. So as those of you who've been following on will know, we've now got these solid beech worktops in place. They're not actually screwed down at the moment, or at least that one isn't. This one has had its hinge attached. I'm about to take the front off the cabinet, which is a bit of an oversight on my part, to be able to work out how to screw these on and get things lined up. So a little bit of a backward step, you might say. And now I'm just doing a bit of fettling to get the gap nice and straight and parallel between the two items, and also get the thing to lay down flat and leave a nice work surface here. So I'm going to do a little bit of that, and then it's going to get some Danish oil, I think, on there. Certainly a treatment. This one needs screwing down. Let's see how we get on. Actually quite nice and parallel there. Needs to sit a little higher at the back, and I need a little bit of sandpaper to take the sharp edge off the back edge of the worktop. See, a little bit of play in the hinge means once it comes up, it tends to sit back, drop down on that a little bit. That's just why it keeps catching the vinyl here. So actually, what that needs is a screw in it, which is going to take most of the impact, I think. Okay, if I put a screw behind this flange, it'll actually pull this back a little bit more and might just give that little bit of extra clearance. Let's try that. Perfect. Just a millimetre is all it needed, just to move it away from the vinyl, just to allow this hinge to have a little bit of backlash in it. And there we go. That is fabulous. Right, next thing. Let's just work out how much I've got to adjust it for height. So I've just got some washers, nice and thin. I'm going to use those to decide how much this top needs to be picked up at the front edge here. That's pretty close. Back edge wants to come up just a fraction as well. Oops. And these will need to be replaced with felt or rubber, just to stop chattering. But again, more or less first go, there's not a lot in that. Magnificent. I'm really pleased with that. Now time to get them other screws into position on the hinges, because we're really at the final bits of finessing now for position, and I don't want the hinge moving too much. There we go. So now there is our lid. Beautiful. Very, very pleased. So now with that split done, all I need to do is basically take this hob and cooker unit out and look at how I'm going to fix this half down. I think the answer is a series of small brackets. Okay, so we've got some sharp, fast screws and a roll of galvanized steel strapping or banding and a pair of tin snips. And what I'm going to do is, if I just cut one of these to length to demonstrate for you, I'm going to cut 4 off. So I've cut, it's basically like Meccano, 4 holes worth off of this. And what I can do is now strap that worktop to the wood below, but also in the bits that are just out of sight to you. I'm going to move the camera for a moment. Don't all get seasick. We've got this area here where the worktop then goes to a 90 degrees, so I can basically make a bent bracket that goes in there and screw that down at the front and straps at the back. Yeah, brilliant. Because the beech is quite tough, I'm going to put a pilot hole in it. There we go. So it's all strapped down now. Very pleased with that. There's a few little bits of sanding I'm going to do with a rough bit of paper just on these edges for my own satisfaction. Obviously nothing here is going to be seen ever. Well, I want to show you something quite interesting, quite exciting to me. Just 1 second. There. Okay, so this is faux beech. It's plastic. This is real beech. So what we need to do is put a treatment on the real beech to make it kind of match up with the faux beech, but without disguising the loveliness of it. So we've done some experiments. This is what happens if you take the real beech and you put lemon oil on with a rag. And it's now protected and food safe and all that sort of thing, but in terms of colour change, there's almost nothing except maybe bringing a little bit of the grain out a little bit. Then we've got Rustin's wood dye interior and exterior in a pine finish. Again, a very pale dye, but it's not making a lot of difference. It's a little closer, but don't really want that one. Then we move on to more lightly. We've got boiled linseed oil applied with a rag. Again, leaves a nice naturalistic looking finish. Doesn't look like it's been coloured. It hasn't. And this is a lot more like the faux beech. Then we've got Danish oil, very traditional wood finishing. Quite liking that one. And that is again very close to the faux beech. And we have this one, which is Ronseal's hardwood furniture oil, which, if I'm honest, looks more like a satin varnish and does kind of feel like there's something on the wood, whereas the Danish doesn't. The colour is very similar, possibly even closer. But I think what I'm going to go for, if I just lay those out for you, is the Danish oil. I think the Danish is a nice change whilst not looking like there's anything on the wood. You know, it just brought out the colour beautifully. That bit hasn't been done. Everything else on there has. So it still shows up the lighter and darker elements, staffs, in the beech plank. So I'm going to go for Danish Oil. I'll show you these outside in the daylight just for your interest. Now guys, let's see the different effects. Okay, so my recommendation for this is clean cloth, a little bit of alcohol, just give it a wipe to make sure you don't leave anything on the surface that you're going to seal in with the oil. Okay, so this is the one I'm using. Colour On Refined Danish Oil in natural, so no actual stain in it whatsoever. I've decanted a little bit into this plastic cap, and I'm going to go around its back edge first. And I'm no wood expert, but my mum and dad very much are, and so they've just advised one thin quick coat and don't fuss with it too much. So I'm really quite enjoying the raw beech. I don't really want to affect it too much. I want to protect it, make it even more hygienic. Beech is quite good for kitchen stuff, and just tone it down half a notch so it blends in better with this false beech on the tambour door. Tambour door. Well, that really does look rather fine. A bit, but I couldn't see previously. Well, there you go. Anybody who's interested in how far this stuff goes, I had about 1 centimetre in the bottom of an aerosol cap, and I've still got plenty left doing that bit, which is just under 1 metre long by 300, both sides. So it spreads a long way. Brilliant. And guys, that gives you a bit of a insight into the effect. It is matting up still on the right hand side and got a little bit paler, but it's not going to get a lot paler than that. And I'm just showing you now quite quickly because I want to get on and do the other half under the same circumstances, you know what I mean? So while I've got my eye in and it's the same temperature and all the rest of it, there's less chance for something to end up looking like I've done it on 2 separate days. It's obviously going to help the look of this worktop that it is one piece of wood that we cut everything out of. So the grains and the staffs and everything else line up like a car dashboard. If it's got a nice veneer on it, it should look like it all belongs.